Alright, what's going on YouTube? We are back with another Baldur's Gate 3 mod video. I'm going to try and make this a little bit more quicker just because I've been going through some of the old videos and I've been showing like the entire level up process, even though some of that is just from like the base game itself. So I'm going to try and focus more on just covering what you get from the subsequent subclasses as you level them up, and probably not go through the entire thing, just because you guys have played Baldur's Gate 3, I assume, the most of you, and you don't really need to see like, oh, at level 2 you get the same thing over and over again. So, gonna try and edit this a little bit differently. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Please leave me feedback, because I always need to improve and get better for you guys. But anyway, I'm just babbling. Today we're going to be taking a look at a monk subclass called the Way of the Force Knight. As you can tell probably from the thumbnail and from the description, this is a Star Wars themed subclass that allows you to use force powers and or lightsabers of the nature. So obviously we're going to be level 3 for a monk, and we're going to select the Way of the Night Force. It's actually pretty cool because at level 3 you actually get the choice of having either regular Jedi robes or Sith robes. We're going to go with the Jedi robes here, which is going to be like the monk knight robes is what they're called here. So you get the choice of picking 4. Now you can mix and match these if you want to have like the dark cowl or like the boots or anything like that. You can switch between these. I'm just going to go strictly with the Jedi portion of it, although I'll probably go back and show like the Sith version of it too as well, maybe towards the end of the video. And you also get to choose a weapon. Now, I have another mod installed which I think is better overall that pairs with this, but we're just going to kind of go over the mod itself first, and then I'll go ahead and give my recommendation for that second mod. But when you go ahead and level up, you can choose between a light sword, which is a one-handed sword, a double light sword, which is, I believe it is a double-sided lightsaber, and you have the dark light sword, which is more of a Sith-type weapon, I believe. We're just going to go with the light sword because, as I said before, I have another weapon that I'm going to showcase that I think pairs pretty well with this mod itself. For the actions that you get with the monk, you get a new cantrip called Mind Trick, which is basically command. It allows you to cause creatures to flee, move closer, or drop their weapon, so essentially command. You also get the ability to use Force Push, and these are going to be using key points, so keep that in mind. So you have the ability to use Force Push, Force Pull, Disarming Cut, Cleave, Disarming Cut. Again, we'll kind of go over some of these because they do differ. And then we have Light Blade Fury. Now, these are going to be subsequent to something else a little bit later on as we level up, and I'll kind of go over these as we continue on. Alright, before we level up, I just want to kind of showcase the armor real quick. It's nothing really substantial. It looks pretty cool. It is definitely themed to be like a Jedi Knight robe, and essentially the Sith version would just be black. The stats are pretty good. You get an extra 1 to their AC and initiative for each piece that you wear. So as you can see, my AC is already at level 20, which is pretty high, right? Having the AC at 20 at level 3 is pretty high. So this definitely can be considered overpowered in the early game. But anyway, I just kind of want to showcase that. And we also have the light sword is here as well. Now, unfortunately, it can't really change the color of the blade, at least with this version of it. I'll showcase some of the other blades I have in my inventory as well, which will give you a little bit more options and actually works with the level up process as well. Alright, so I skipped the next couple levels just to get to level 6, because this is where you actually get the next, I guess, buff or power up, if you will, or I guess things. I'm not exactly sure the right terminology, but you actually get like the next benefits of using the mod itself. You get the standard monk stuff, which is additional key point, improved unarmored movement, key powered strikes, force jump, which allows you to jump greater distances, so your jump range has been increased. You have the option to use greater force, release a wave of force that pushes away all creatures and objects, so it's pretty much a greater force push. You also have the ability to use a new passive called Advanced Combat Form. So there's different things that you can do with these combat forms. So with dueling, this allows you to increase your armor class by 2 and allows you to counter attacks, possibly. It doesn't do it every single turn, but you have the chance to counter. You have speed, which gives you an additional 1 to 4 force damage. You also are able to get around the battlefield a lot quickly, and you can use multiple attacks in one turn. So go ahead and pick these. So with dueling, you'll get the Disarming Cut and Light Blade Fury, which strikes twice, and then Disarming Cut allows you to potentially disarm your opponent. Speed gives you the option to use Acrobatic Strike, which you leap across the battlefield without provoking an attack, and you are hastened for a turn, and you can jump without spending a bonus action. So this is actually really strong. It does cost 3 key points to use each time, but it is a really strong ability to maneuver around. You also get Cleave, which allows you to hit up to 3 enemies at once, and then you also get Light Blade Fury, which is 2 strikes at an opponent. It does take a key point. And then finally, you have Counter. You adopt a counter stance, ready to block your opponent's. You adopt a counter stance, ready to turn your opponent's attacks back on them. Two-handed grip. You deal an additional 1 to 4 force damage with weapon attacks as long as you're not wielding a shield. You may counter melee and ranged attacks. And then you get disarming cut here. So usually I pick speed just because you get more options here. I believe you get to have up to 2 or 3 different styles, and you can switch them on the fly. Alright, so again, I skipped a couple levels. We're at level 9, which is where we get our next increase and our next Jedi-based powers. You get still your standard monk stuff with additional key points and advanced unarmored movement. Subclass feature, Force Echo. You have learned to gain information from objects and creatures by sensing echoes in the Force. I'm assuming this is meaning you could use detect thoughts and things like that. I'm assuming this is essentially what it means, but just used as like the Force. And then you get a new cantrip called Kinetic Force. Throw a creature or object up to 18 meters with a thought. This requires concentration and uses 2 key points. Alright, here we're at level 11. We get an additional key point. We get a new subclass feature, Deflect Force. The Force now covers you like a mantle and allows you to deflect even attacks that are not physical. So now we have the chance to block magic attacks, probably things such as Magic Missile, Ice Knife, and things like that whenever we use like a counter stance, which is actually pretty cool and really strong. And we get the additional combat form here. We've already chosen speed. We have a new one that we can choose called Ferocity. You adopt the fierce offensive stance, focus on dealing damage quickly. Two-handed grip, you deal an additional 1 to 4 force damage with weapon attacks as long as you're not wielding a shield. And with the Ferocity, you get the Force Onslaught, charge forward, striking at every creature in your path. It doesn't provoke the opportunity attacks. You get Cleave and then Light Blade Fury. So a lot of these are really strong. Dueling's pretty strong if you're having like a lot of one-on-one fights, although you really don't get that many attack options. You do get the increased armor class, which is good. But I think with like the gear that you have, your armor class is going to be pretty high anyway. Counter's pretty decent as well. Anything to counter both like melee and ranged attacks is pretty strong. It's not 100%, but it does a trigger every so often. And then if you want to go really aggressive, I would say Ferocity's a really good one. If you want to be like more of an aggressive fighter, then I would say like combat forms, speed and ferocity are probably the 2. You could do speed and counter to kind of have like a more in and out fighting style. Because again, you can switch these, you can do an attack and then switch to another stance afterwards. So I would probably say speed is really good, and then counter would probably be 2 ones to offset themselves really well, or you can do ferocity just for like more aggressive fighting. And so as you see, like level 12, you get nothing else. I believe you can take this class to level 20, and you might be able to unlock more stances, but I'm only going to do level 12 here. And just going to pick our last feat here. Probably if I was to respec this character, I'd probably dump out Wisdom into Strength, because I don't think a lot of the Force powers use Wisdom. But is this something that's kind of default by monk to have? But before we do go to the combat scenario, I did want to share another mod here. I'll leave a link in the description down below. It's called the Plasma Weapons Dark Set, and essentially what it is allows you to have armor and weapons that are also based on Star Wars for both Jedi and Sith. You have it's called the Prismatic Sword instead of the Light Sword. What's cool about this weapon is that, as you can see from the description, the weapon unlocks new abilities as you level up. So at level 1, you get the basic Force. Level 3, you get Minor Bolt. Level 7, you get Lightning Strike. And then level 9, you get Lightning Wrath. And then you also get like weapon enhancements such as Basic Force, Lightning Strike. I already explained those. What's also cool about this weapon, though... Sorry, my mouse is being weird. Is that with this weapon, you also have the option to change the blade color, which I think is something that could be used in the Light Sword variant, is to be able to change the blade color. So... you get a new ability down here called Sword Color, and you can change it to any one of these colors here. So if you want it to be purple, red, white, yellow, blue. You know, I think that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to sheath the blade itself. Maybe there's another mod to do so, but I haven't figured out a way to sheath the mod, or sheath the weapon. You can also do something that's like a Claymore, which also has its own abilities as well, such as Force Onslaught and Force Storm. And there's also the Reverse Sword, which is like a back blade. So if you want to have like a reverse blade as your main weapon, you can do that as well. It also has the ability to change the weapon color here. So overall, pretty cool. I think I prefer this lightsaber over the light sword. And you can dual wield if you like. So if you want to have like one main hand and then one offhand, you can do that as well. So that way you can unlock both abilities. So as you see here, all the abilities here are unlocked. They do take bonus action. Some only can be used per battle. Some a little bit more often. I will say though, with the Force mod itself, if you're gonna dive deeper into like the Sith variants, you should have the ability to pick like, I don't know, like Sith Lightning or something, or just be able to pick some lightning spells and stuff like that. Now you can multi-class obviously into like Mage or Sorcerer and unlock those abilities, but I feel like that's something that should be done by default. You also do get an armor pack as well with this. So if you go into the tutorial chest, you get the Darth set backpack. There are 2 armor sets in here that you can pick as well, which is the Darth set and then the Jedi set here. So we'll go ahead and just put on these sets here. Just take a look at them. I think this looks really cool. Definitely has that Sith vibe to it, and you also do get bonus perks for it as well, such as Alert, Psionic Revenge, and Darth Progression as a wielder levels up. Darth Hood will progressively become more potent, and then at level 11 you get Dance Magapri, I think is how you pronounce that. Let me see what that actually does. It's a level 9 conjuring spell. Channel a huge burst of energy and speed and strike up to 6 targets in a blink of an eye. That's really strong. I can see why it's a level 11 ability. You also have a Jedi variant of it called the Callius set, so we'll go ahead and put that on as well. So I feel like this is more of like what you would see maybe like the Clone Wars variant of like Jedis and Sith, just because it has a little bit more armor pieces, it stands out. I do like this armor set. Same deal here. You get some bonuses as well. So with this, you get the Grandmaster Aegis, which is resistance to force and psychic damage. Saving throw, you get some healing back. Force absorption, you gain force conduit when attacking, slashing, bleeding. When taking slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage, and then also with dark progression, you get the level up the abilities of the armor as well. You also get a new ability here called Almighty Force. Use Almighty Force power to pull or push your targets. So again, pretty strong, and you can see these abilities down here as well. Force Conduit. If the entity takes damage while it has 5 or more turns remaining, it deals 1 to 4 damage in a 6 meter radius. Pretty strong here. A few more items that you can get in the armor pack. Obviously, there's some different blades here, such as the reverse swords. So if you want to do like twin swords, you can like pull 2 out of here. You also get these items which allow you to unlock all the spells and abilities if you so choose. These are just more like cheat items, so if you just wanted to have like both light side and dark side powers, you can do that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and show off some combat, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm going to try and do these a little bit different. I'm using the Trials of Tav Reloaded to kind of do the showcase for combat. But I'm trying to do these a little bit more short in terms of like the showcases, because it doesn't make sense for me to show the entire level 1 to level 12 process if there's only certain levels where you gain the abilities from the mod itself. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know what your thoughts, and I will see you in the next video.
No time for mercy.
Ready. On I go.
to the chase.
Let's end this.
Where do I go from here? Light on my feet. Here goes nothing.
My faith will protect me. No mercy.
Breathe deep and move.
Can't give up.